Hi everybody. If you received this email or this video communication, chances are you know who I am. My name is Luc Benoit and I am one of the presenters of the ongoing workshop, The Recovery of the Real, Authentic, True Self, and Creating Your Life Vision. Our next workshop is coming up, and I'm going to talk to you today about the topic of that workshop. We're going to be continuing with the material that we have been working on in removing blocks, and this time we're going to be working on removing blocks in communication. I'm going to tell you about a tool that I have developed that I'm going to share with you that incorporates some pieces from a bunch of different sources, and I'm bringing them together in a very simple way to give you something that's very effective. This is particularly wonderful in improving communication in a relationship that's difficult, a romantic relationship that's difficult, a relationship between a parent and a child or an adolescent where we're having difficulties, especially if the child may be having problems with drugs or depression. This is also very effective and good to use as a tool for sorting through things on your own, just yourself, in communication, in relationship with the self. So I hope you're going to join us for this next workshop. I'm going to explain to you in brief how this tool works and what the components of it are. It is called, as you'll see here on this board, Radical Listening. Now, Radical Listening, nice pair of words. It sort of reminds me of the work from Colin Tipping on radical acceptance, but this is really something quite different. When we're talking about radical listening, the idea is that we're going to create success in the relationship by basically practicing a lot of intense listening and a lot of shutting up, shutting the mouth, keeping the mouth shut. Sometimes that is the best thing we can do to show somebody that we love them, to keep our mouth shut and to see them profoundly is an incredible act of love and acceptance and affirmation, and so often what we are not giving to each other that we need to be giving to create success in our relationships. Now, I'm going to read you a little statement I have because I couldn't quite memorize it, but what this says here is that in this endeavor in healing the relationship and getting it up and running, we will succeed, okay, if we use the radical listening tools and we take our eyes off the other person and do the work that we need to do on ourselves. In other words, I need to deal with my own caca, and if I can do that, then I'm going to show up in the relationship in a different way, and probably that relationship is going to shift and things will fall into place for the better. If they don't fall into place for the better, then that's an important sign. If I've really done my part and I've really done my work, sometimes things are supposed to naturally fall away on their own, but doing this work creates amazing, amazing results. So let me take you through the basic steps of this model, concept, tool, whatever you want to call it. It's a structure for communication that we're going to use. Number one, throw down your bubble at the first percolation. In other words, if some kind of a conflict is happening or developing, or you're feeling even a tiny little bit of disturbance, it might be at the back of your neck, a little sense, uh-oh, it's coming, here we go. Immediately, throw down your bubble. Imagine a bubble slamming down in front of you that is going to protect you completely and contain you completely. What we're talking about here is, of course, boundaries and I want you to imagine the sound effect that comes on that very objectionable TV program TMZ. You will often hear it before the commercial break. They'll go like zoom, something like that, where you'll hear that sound effect come in. I want you to picture that bubble slamming down all around you, hearing that zoom sound effect to trigger your mind that this process has begun. Number one. Number two, do not react, no matter what, 100%. Okay? Do not react, no matter what, 100%. For most people, this is very difficult. It's really hard to hold back. The visualization and the sound effect with the bubble are going to help with this. I need to see that bubble, hear that zoom sound effect, stand still, contain myself, and do nothing. My action at this point is to do nothing no matter what. Okay? Number three, get calm no matter what it takes. What this means is, what do you need to do now to soothe yourself and bring your energy down to get you to a reasonable place where you can sort things out and figure out what is really going on. Okay? Now, oftentimes when we're dealing with difficult couples or parents and kids where things are very intense and exacerbated, we're going to use a timeout strategy. Okay? That works quite well. That means, for the most part, one person is going to leave the house, okay, and they're going to stay away from the house for a period of 90 minutes to 2 hours, however long it takes for them to completely calm down and that reactivity to go away. Their blood pressure should drop and be able to be tested normally. Most of the time, when we think that we've been gone long enough, we haven't been gone long enough at all, and we need to be gone even longer. Okay? Whatever techniques we're going to use to get calm might include some journaling, some meditation, some tapping, going to a meeting, calling a friend and processing what's going on, not a drama friend that's going to whip this up into a meringue of drama or frenzy, but a really solid person that's going to be able to understand your focus in needing to calm down. You might read some spiritual literature. There's many tools that you could use. Tapping here is an excellent tool. We talked a lot about that in the last workshop, and the new workshop coming up, we're going to show how we can use that here. But it's one of the best tools that we could use at this time. It's fast, it's effective, and I need to do whatever it is that I need to do to get calm so that I can move on to number 4, which is find out what's real and not real. In this situation, when things are starting to go, even when we catch the reactivity at the very beginning, what this means is that thoughts are going, ideas are churning, and some of those are not real. This is a wonderful place to bring in the Byron Katie's 4 questions that we've been discussing, okay? And to look at my history of, old beliefs, old programming that's not true, that I may tend to bring into present situations. I need to be able to start looking at this stuff and saying, you know what? I've seen this before. It was false in the past. Maybe it's false here. Maybe something else is going on that, I'm not aware of. It's also important right in this time, okay, in the get calm time, in the find out what's real and what's not real section, to remember that in this relationship, there has been previously established a commitment to each other. And that at one point, we said to each other, we are on the same side. And we are committed to being and staying on the same side. Now, often that just goes out the window when the ridiculous or flawed fear thinking comes up. I need to reach back and have that connected. I might do well to keep a little note piece of paper in my pocket with a statement on it that reminds me we are on the same side. Even if it doesn't feel like it right now, we committed to this, we were on the same side, and even if it doesn't seem like it right now, we still are. That remembrance, that reminder can make a big difference in helping me get calm and helping me sort out what's real and not real here. We might do a little inventory at this point from the 12-step model. We might write a 10th step, call a sponsor or a friend and read it to them, find out what's my part, what is my thinking, did I do something here that wasn't right, do I owe an amends, sort through that. I may have been just fine in the situation, but maybe not. Chances are, no matter how it's going, I have some distorted ideas or beliefs that are coming up that are playing into what's going on here. And that brings us now to number 5, know who you are. Okay, know who you really are in the grander sense, that you are a spirit, that you are a whole person, that your identity and value does not depend on the conflict that is about to happen or was about to happen here today in this moment. We get so caught up in believing that we have to win, that we have to win the points or win the situation, that often we lose track about what's really happening, you know. And what I need to understand is I'm wonderful and fantastic beyond all this. Okay? No matter what's going on here right now, it doesn't determine my value. It doesn't determine who I am. A wonderful thing here is always, I love to read from the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, the chapter on don't take anything personally, which really brings out the energy and juice of this in a wonderful, wonderful way. That also is great to help get me calm, to help me understand what's real and what's not real and what's really going on here, and remembering who it is that I really am. Now, once I have completed these 5 steps, I should be in a fairly stable and open state, and I'm ready to move into the next phase of this, okay, where we're actually going to connect with the person and try to sort things out. This is going to be where we're going to do some structured communication using I statements that are going to be all positive, and we're going to practice that listening where the first person will write down their statements and give them, while the other person keeps their mouth shut completely and listens 100%. After that exchange has happened, complete with the true emotions about what's going on, we will switch and go the other way. The second person will write their statements and deliver them with complete listening and without interruption. And as we foster that process, sort of like a tennis game with the cadence of dancing, okay, and the people starting to work together, what we will always find is that the emotions start to shift and become more positive, and the people end up getting back on the same page. When we use these tools and this process, most of the time, the greatest bulk of the time, that is what this process will create. So, this is what we're going to be talking about in the upcoming workshop, and I would hope to see you there. We are going to be meeting at the Common Ground Spiritual Center in Santa Ana. It will be me, Luc Benoit, life coach and hypnotist, and Joan Wise, parenting specialist, certified life coach and anger management specialist, and our wonderful group that continues to grow and congeal and become more and more exciting, and we would love to have you a part of it. So we hope to see you there.